guys, how's it going? Welcome back to my channel, Chats with Chennai. I am so excited about today's segment. I have two special guests and we're going to be talking about different topics, particularly pop culture. So stay tuned and I hope you enjoy. Okay, so I have here Carole and then I have Tinashe. So Carole, if you want to just introduce yourself and tell them a little bit about yourself, and then Tinashe, you can do the same.
Hey guys, my name is Carole. I'm a nurse. I live in Arizona, and I have a YouTube channel called Human Health and Kindness. Basically, I just talk about different diseases, treatments, healthcare, and share a little bit of my life.
Okay,
glad to be here.
Tinashe.
Hey guys, my name is Tinashe. I live in Orlando and I am a realtor. I do have a YouTube channel as well. It's called Tinashe Celeb, and it's just real estate tips for anyone looking to buy or sell real estate, especially in Florida.
Awesome. Okay, ladies, thank you for that. All right, we're just going to get into these topics. So, as you guys know, a lot of stuff that's been going on in celeb drama, for example, the Jada and Will thing, it's kind of happened, like, it's kind of old now, but I just wanted to know what's you guys' take on, like, the whole entanglement situation. Do you guys feel like it's a big deal? Do you guys feel like that's their life? If they like it, nobody else's business? Or do you feel like because they are celebrities and they present themselves in a certain way, it's all business? So I want to know your take.
Well, so the whole entanglement thing, I think it's a big fish, but just to kind of bring it down to one little token, I would say it is people's business just because they've discussed their relationship publicly. They've openly talked about how they transitioned from being a romantic couple to life partners, whatever.
You know, we're in a life partnership, you know, and just wanting to create that freedom for ourselves.
Whatever that means. And they've always always been out there in the limelight with their relationship. So when things like this come up, we want an explanation.
Oh, okay. So you
Sorry,
say
guys,
their business is our business.
I know.
Okay, I like that. What about you, Tinashe? What would you say?
I mean, I know there's always been a stigma with celebrities where, you know what you sign up for, especially if you're a certain level of celebrity. But I also feel like there are celebrities out there who've been very successful at keeping their private life private. With this particular situation, Will and Jada aren't that private about their stuff. So obviously people are going to feel entitled to an opinion. And it's like, you put yourself out there. But at the same time, too, I kind of feel for them because she said she wasn't expecting that because it happened so long ago and it just randomly came up. So now you're thrown into this. So it's not like, they were on a IG war or something. Right. Someone basically exposed them. So it sucks, but that's what happens when you get entangled.
Right. Oh, interesting. Yeah, I don't know if I feel sorry for her though, but yeah, I do agree with what Carole says. You know, when you put yourself out there, especially if you make part of your platform about your relationship, people are going to be interested in knowing what's going on and they're going to want explanation. What about in general? What do you guys think about the whole concept of, okay, obviously they were married, she said they got separated and then she got into an entanglement. Just that aspect. What do you guys think on that? Like, what's your thoughts?
Honestly, for me, and I'm the only one here who's actually not married, I still feel like as a single person that there's differences when you separate or break up when you're dating versus a separation when you're married. I feel like if my marriage was going through it and we had that separation, until those divorce papers are signed, there's no time for that because that's how things like this happen, Because again, a separation doesn't mean, I know like Will said, he thought at that time they were absolutely done, but I still feel like unless you signed that divorce paper, you took vows. At the end of the day, you're still legally married. That situation in my life would not have happened.
Well, in any other circumstance, I would agree with you, Tinashe. When you're separated, it's probably not the best idea to move on to another relationship. But in this circumstance, Will and Jada, again, publicly have said, we will never get a divorce, no matter what. And they've described their relationship as we're on different paths. And you find your happiness, I find my happiness. Whatever that means, we may not know the whole story, but what that tells me is they kind of have an understanding, or they, at least at that time, they had an understanding that we're doing our own thing. So I think it just got so public because, August came out and did, poured out the can of beans, and people were already suspicious previously.
Right. Yeah. No, I can agree with that. I do think, like, to a degree, it's one of those things where it's like, it's not up to us to try to define how people's marriages should be. While, of course, we may have our view about how marriage is supposed to be, if different people have to decide, okay, for us, these are the boundaries and perimeters for us, and that's what's going to work for us. So if it works for them, more kudos to them. So, okay. I like that take. All right, ladies. And then another hot topic, celeb drama. I'm sure you guys have heard about the Kanye West thing going on. I don't know if he's still running for president or if he's attempting to. I don't know what the situation is, but obviously he's been running for president, or he's trying to run for president, and then he's gotten into some, I don't know, he's broken down on stage at one of his campaign rallies. I don't know if it's a rally, but basically, I just want to know you guys' take on that. Like, do you feel like, well, anyway, tell me your take, period. Like, I don't know if I don't take the presidency seriously, so that's not really a matter to me. Do you think he's really serious, or do you think it's a matter of, because he's expressed that he does have bipolar disorder, if I'm not mistaken. So do you think that's linked to that? I don't know, Carole, this may be an area you may know a little about, so say something.
Okay, so the Kanye thing, I'm tired of 2020. First of all, before we even move on, it's just like one thing after another. But I do have to say, I remember Kanye a few years back. I thought he said he was going to run in 2020. I think it was like 2012, like a long time ago. So based upon that, I don't know if he thinks he has a chance, if he thinks he's truly what America needs right now. But it's very difficult to look at Kanye and look at the tweets, the campaign rally, even going back to the past, getting on stage, interrupting Taylor Swift, just all of these outbursts. It's really hard to look at that. And knowing that he has bipolar disorder, it's difficult to not link those things together, because what he's displaying, and I actually work in mental health, so from what I've seen and what I've learned, what he's displaying are symptoms of mania, like he's having what's called a manic episode in depression.
Right.
And these are times when people will spend a lot of money, they'll stay awake for days, they might be very promiscuous. Not saying this is what Kanye is doing, but there's not very many boundaries, and there's not a lot of what's the word? Like basically inhibitions. It's just like go, go.
There's no filter.
There's no filter, exactly, and that's kind of what he's showing. So I definitely think it's linked to his mental health, but I think there's some truth to what he's saying.
Okay, we're gonna touch on that real quick. So my question for you guys, should we be looking at him more so as a patient, like someone, okay, this is someone who's not well and this is what's causing him to be like this? Or should we be like, okay, because a lot of people, there's a lot of controversy with regards to just how Kanye is as a person and just his outbursts, because before he came out with saying that he did have bipolar disorder, he's always been outspoken and passionate. So should we look at him more so as a patient, or really hold him responsible and accountable for some of the things he does and some of the things that he says?
I would say,
I don't know what your take is.
Yeah, like for me, I have no deep knowledge over mental health issues, but I also think at the end of the day, like, he has a platform and he has people in his circle who, when if you're dealing with someone who deals with a lot of mental health issues, there should be a way to maybe filter the message before it goes out. Kind of, no shade to our president, but sometimes I'm like, how are these tweets coming out? Like, I feel like there should be a little, someone who checks that because of the platform that you have. So as far as accountability, again, because he could be dealing with some serious mental health issues, you can't fault someone for that. It's a sickness. You know, he can't necessarily help some of the things that he does. I think when it's someone dealing with that, especially with the resources he has, like Kanye West has money, there should be someone who be able to like monitor and track that if you're getting paid for it, you know. So I think that's where that comes in. I think his camp, his circle, especially because he's married and the family he's married into are so big on image that some of this stuff really like there's people now where sometimes if I want to send something out but I'm not too sure, like I'll ask you guys like, hey, what do you think of this before I post it? I feel like it should almost be mandatory when you know the type of person and the type of situation you're dealing with, like Kanye.
Right. Yeah, I agree. I do think there should be some people who step in, but at the same time, you know, from just what I hear with people who deal with family members or friends who do deal with or who have mental health issues, sometimes you can only help somebody to the extent that they're willing to be helped. Because at the end of the day, he is a grown man. He has all this money accessible to him. So he's able to do what he wants when he wants, go where he wants. And, you know, so you can't like restrain him, you know, literally. Like, so at the end of the day, because I think I've heard a lot of people kind of like blame his wife, saying, where's your wife at? Where's your, you know, the whole family? But at the same time, it's like, he is an adult. Like, he's able to do what he wants. His wife can only do so much. Of course, not knowing what role she's playing, but at the same time, I do think it's also that level of understanding that people who don't want to be helped, you can't help them, you know?
And along with what Pam is saying, I think his wife definitely can't stop him. No one can stop anyone from doing what they want to do. But the people that are around him, these people are making money. You have to remember that. Essentially, he's their boss. He tells them what to do. He pays their bills. I don't know about you guys, but I don't feel comfortable going to the CEO of my company and telling him, hey, maybe don't do that. So these people probably just feel kind of helpless when they watch him. Not only from a monetary place, but also just from a human rights place. He's not hurting anyone. He's not hurting himself. What ground? I mean, he can tweet, he can do whatever. There's really not much that can be done about it.
Some people do feel like he is hurting, not physically hurting anyone, but like, you know, obviously with everything that's going on in the political scheme and whatnot, that some of the rhetoric he's putting out is harmful to the population or those who might end up following him. And I know Carrie said you agree with some of his things, so I wanted to know, what are those? What do you agree with? Or that he's not wrong in other stuff?
The things that I agree with him on, I believe he did tell, like one of the tweets said, I told Kim to promise me she would never let North pose for Playboy or something like that. I'm sure he did.
Okay, and that's it.
Just so that kind of thing. The text that he sent to Kim's mom, I'm sure that was real. That was true. I think he's in his head. He makes a lot of sense, because the one thing with people with mental illness as well, although they might lack in like one area, like let's say that area is like intelligence, like physical, like writing, reading, or emotional, social intelligence. Oftentimes they're a lot more heightened in other places. And I think Kanye really is. I mean, he's a musical genius.
Exactly.
So, you know, he's heightened in that sense, but he just doesn't know how to properly say it. And when you don't know how to properly express yourself, it's kind of difficult for people to understand you. But I think some of the things that he's been tweeting, I think he's telling the truth.
And I definitely understand that, and I agree with that. But I do feel like sometimes, to a level, celebrities do have a platform, and with that platform, there comes a sense of responsibility where you are held to a higher standard, because you have this platform where you're able to influence people, and really you are intending to influence people, and that comes with you needing to kind of not necessarily, you should still be yourself, but you should be able to articulate yourself the way you really want people to receive what you're saying. And I think a lot of times he does fail to do that, because I know sometimes maybe when I'm hearing him, I'm like, I think he's trying to say this. But when you're on that platform, you really have to be able to say what you mean and mean what you say, because anything you say can be taken a certain way. And people who are, not everybody's educated, and I know you think it's not really his responsibility, but at the same time, when you're on that platform, you should have responsibility to kind of like, okay, what am I putting out there? Is this reflective? And maybe it is reflective of who he is, but
I think
if
it
you're
is. I really think it is. Like, I think he's the person that should be held accountable and for the things he says, like very stringently, that should be the president of the United States. And what is the president of the United States doing? Like, you know what I'm saying? Ooh.
I wish I had some tea right now.
The tea is exceptionally good today.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, he's just an artist. Like, he's a guy who loved music, is passionate, really talented. If I was him, it's not my
But he wants to be
responsibility.
more than an artist, though. He wants to be a politician. So as someone
The thing
who
is,
wants to be
I
a
think that's part of
politician-
the. I think that's part of the delusions. I
You
think that's
so?
where the
'Cause I'm
mental
like,
illness comes
for
in.
someone who wants to be in politics, then there is a level of where we can scrutinize now what you're saying, what you're doing, because you're trying to be in that position that influences people and affects people's lives daily in the literal sense. Do you guys also think that we need to? Because that just reminded me what you're talking about. Okay, like Tamar Braxton. I don't know if you guys have heard. Like within the past week or was it a week and a half, she was hospitalized for allegedly attempted suicide. So do you guys think we need to give celebrities room to be human? Because at the end of the day, what we've been seeing throughout the year, like celebrities are literally human beings. Things like they experience emotions just as much as we do. Of course, their skin has to be tougher and whatnot. But do you think because they are held to that standard, that's where they get to that point? Like, okay, I've had to put on this front or whatever, where I have to be strong. But at the same time, she's a human being and she experiences those same emotions. So to what degree should we give leeway for celebrities to just be humans like the way we are? And to what degree do we need to hold them to a higher standard?
So this is kind of what I was saying about with Kanye. He's just a person. We need to be able to look at these celebrities as just humans, just other human beings, just like us, who experience emotions, who maybe have mental health issues, who maybe have eating disorders, maybe are overweight, who have stretch marks, who are normal, who have trouble growing their hair. Normal people that just happen to have a talent that they love pursuing and that they pursued to such a high extent that they became successful. I think the problem comes when us regular folks look to them like, oh my gosh, you are this different type of human being.
Yeah.
And so I say, like, we shouldn't be holding them to any standard. We shouldn't be looking to them for the answers. They're just people.
Yeah, I agree with that. What do you think, Tinashe?
I agree to an extent. As I was saying before, I do think when you sign up for a particular lifestyle, you also need to know what comes with that lifestyle. But I would say I feel like what's happened with celebrities is social media has like turned it almost into a monster. Like these people are now at the point where they're way too accessible. I feel like before it was just about, oh, let me connect with my fans, blah, blah, blah. But it's like if... like in high school, there's people who get online internet like bullied and stuff like that happens. And that's from you just doing regular day life. Now imagine if you're out here like always posting certain type of content. Some might be controversial. Some can just be you doing your regular. It's like there's people out there that they just feel like they can say these things to you because they can. So I feel like it's a responsibility on us as fans or consumers of these social media products to, check yourself a little bit. Like, is what this person posting or doing online, like, is it affecting my daily life in any way? If it's not, don't talk about it. Like, leave them alone, because at the end of the day, they are people. But I also think for those celebrities, it's also like, hey, this comes with the package. Regular people are getting online bullied. I'm not saying it's okay. It's definitely not okay. Like, in society, that's something we need to fix. But until we get there, it's, you kind of, you're putting yourself out there. That's going to come with consequences. So it's unfortunate, but I just think that's reality.
Yeah, I think I agree with both of what you're saying. I definitely think what I love for what Carole said, like we as regular people need to stop looking at celebrities for the answers. Because they're just as broken as we are, or as the average person is. They are dealing with the same demons, same issues. So when we idolize them, I think that's a problem. So when they do end up doing something wrong, making a mistake or failing, it like we feel crushed. Like, what? How could they? Oh, how could he cheat on this, on his wife? Or how could she get in an entanglement? I thought they were couple goals, you know what I mean? Or wow,
Relationship
really?
goals.
You know what I mean? And then you're looking, but so I think part of it is onto us to stop looking at these people as anything other than normal people who do have whatever talent caused them to gain fame, but they're really a human being. But with that said, I do think on their end, there's a responsibility that comes with that. So when you do have a platform or a place where you have a voice, it's up to you to use that voice responsibly. And it's up to people to critique that if they feel like what you're putting out there is not good or whatever it is. I do think people have that right to have an opinion on it. All right, ladies, thank you so much for joining. We're gonna have to do another video with you guys, a part 2 about this or something else. So Carole, thank you so much, and Tinashe, I hope you guys enjoyed.
Such a pleasure being here, Chennai.
For sure.
Oh yeah, thank you.